What up, guys? Mr. Maryland here, rocking the Maryland sunglasses. You know that's how we do it here. We are blessed today to have a fabulous guest with us. We're coming to you live from Keller Williams flagship of Maryland. I guess they call this Studio B up here on the second floor over here in Millersville, and we are rocking it out this afternoon. And I am blessed to be here with one of my close friends and one of my business partners, Mr. Shaun Holden.
How you doing?
And the crowd goes wild. And Shaun is here today, and he's going to tell you a little backstory about himself and how we got started in this crazy world of rehabbing houses. You know, I don't really use that word flip much anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of got a bad connotation.
It's kind of got a bad connotation. So taking the shades off. Obviously, we're inside. I don't know. Shades on, shades off. Lights are going here.
Yes, it's a bright future.
It's a bright future. So we got Tobias Mugg here from Lit
What up?
Video Productions, and he is here helping us today with our business to business interview series that we're starting. And this is kicking off here today. Shaun, what's up, man?
What's up?
This is fun, right?
It's a blast.
Oh, I love this stuff. So Shaun, tell us a little bit of backstory about you, your family, your life.
All right.
All the good stuff.
I'm 40. I've been married 15 years. I've got 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys, 2 through 10 years old. And I was in the Army for about 13 years. Just got out a couple years ago, and right around the time we met.
Yeah.
I've been.
Well, you got a big
doing this
Y
ever since.
right there, man. 4 kids.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah,
So
a big Y.
big Y.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that doesn't get Shaun motivated in the morning, I'm not sure what does.
Yeah.
How did we meet? Do you remember that day?
I called you on a bandit sign.
Yeah.
I always call bandit signs to try to find wholesalers. So you had some bandit signs out. I think I talked to one of your partners, and then you called me back, something like that. And then we met at the Keller Williams office before you moved over here.
Yep.
And we hit it off pretty well. I was getting ready to do my first rehab then, so you helped me buy and sell that house. And that one was a nightmare, but I still made $4 grand.
Nightmare? Yeah.
And
So Shaun,
yeah.
you guys pick up on that nightmare, but he made $4 grand. He knows his numbers, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm told that if you make anything at all on your first rehab, you did well.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
yeah.
That's good. So that brings back some chills for me when I met Shaun, and he called just like any kind of Joe off the street, and came into the office. We met, and let me take these off to get a little more personal with you guys. He came into the office. We sat down and talked, and I think we kind of hit it off from day one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I asked Shaun a lot of great questions, in-depth questions about his background, where he got started, and why he wanted to do this. And I loved some of your answers.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing I love about Shaun is growth. I would say that you are one of the most growth-minded individuals that I've gotten to know. And Shaun pushes me every day.
Yeah.
And so it might seem like you're pulling me some days, right?
If I can get you on the phone.
That's right. That's right. So we did that first flip over in Glen Burnie.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit more about that, because I know people love hearing horror stories. Stu doesn't really live in the past with horror stories. I like to write those out. Yet we learn from those, and we either win or we learn, right? Those experiences teach us to win and learn. So tell us about that first rehab.
I had sent out a bunch of letters on my own. Talked to this lady about a year before I got it under contract. She contacted me a year later and wanted to sell the house. And in the meantime, you had somebody doing your rehabs for PPG.
Yep.
I was doing my own thing for Hanson, and we talked and decided to partner up. And so I got that one under contract, and so we just took it under PPG's wing and ran with it.
Yeah. And so when Shaun says PPG, that was one of our original companies, Precision Properties Group, that we founded with Brent and Hess years back. And Shaun has really kind of taken that company and grown it to a level now where we're doing probably, what are we doing now? Probably about 10 projects a year, give or take.
Yep.
Somewhere in that ballpark.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I want to announce that Shaun just recently passed his MHIC licensing class.
I did. Yeah, I went ahead and took some time away from doing that, which slowed a lot of our projects down, unfortunately, but went to a 10-month trade school and used my GI Bill to go through that, and just finished that up last month. It's July, so last month.
Yeah.
Took my MHIC, and so I'm well on the way of getting that.
So would you say that education is one of your big things, one of your passions?
Yeah, I would. I like to know what I'm doing. I know a lot of people get stuck in the education cycle, and they just keep learning more, trying to learn as much as they possibly can, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
But I think certainly education is important to make things better in the future as far as the MHIC, so I can start my own business, so I can get rehabs done a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I would say that's one positive thing that Shaun does that I've noticed is he's very detail oriented, and he wants to know the reason why certain things are done.
Yeah.
Not just the end result, the reason why do we put this here and why do we put that there, and how's that going to affect the future? How is the future homeowner going to be affected by some of the decisions that we make?
Definitely, because it comes back on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not only our name, but I mean, liability wise, it can come back on you too.
Yeah, exactly. And so rehabbing, what is that fun? What makes it fun for you? Is it fun for you?
It is fun. I like taking something. It's aggravating.
Well, I never want to assume that it is fun for everybody, because it is fun for me too.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it is aggravating when somebody says they're going to be there doing something and they don't show up, or they just walk altogether. But I do enjoy taking something that's just absolutely hideous and making it beautiful.
Yep.
And somebody can move in. And I like being able to assure them and be able to show them that they are getting a good property. And why they're getting a good property.
Yeah, we just recently did, you guys may have saw the video that I posted out on social media. We did a property over in Pumphrey, Maryland, and this was just a little bungalow. What was it, about 900 square feet above grade? And we opened up walls. Everything was permitted. Everything was done with structural engineers. And the family that bought this property, I mean, they were just amazed with how we were able to take that small footprint and maximize square footage.
Yep.
When we opened that stairwell up, what do we add? Like a 28-inch door in the bedroom to get to the bathroom.
To get to the bathroom to make it a master.
Yeah, make it a little bit more of a master feel. And so tell us, what do we have going on right now?
We have one going on in Pasadena, which is somewhat of the nightmare right now. We have one going on in Brooklyn that's supposed to be sold next week. We have one in Severn that'll be finished within the next month, and I feel like we have a fourth.
Yeah, I guess we got two in Brooklyn going right now.
Yeah.
So
one next door to the one that's selling
so
next
good
week.
story. We were renovating this property in Brooklyn, and when I say we, I mean Shaun, right? Like you don't see Stu getting dirty very often. Keyboard hands.
Yep.
And Shaun came to me and said, well, I have this great opportunity to buy the neighbor's house, and we can put in a minimal amount of equity, a minimal amount of work, and we'll be able to turn a pretty good return on investment. And so we have that under contract. That went under contract in about
2 days.
2 days.
It was 2 days under contract.
So 2 days, and that is a testament of Shaun's ability to work with the contractors and some of the tradesmen to get the finishes done right, to have it completely ready to go when it hits the market. And that's what Michele and I really encourage all of our sellers to do, is to really get that home ready, showcase ready, showroom ready. Day one, that first buyer that walks in that front door, they're there to buy a house.
Yep.
And so when it looks great and it shows great and it's done right and it's permitted and all the details are met, it makes a big difference.
Yep. It does.
You know, what are some of the other reasons besides fun and money that we do this job? Like what is, or I guess I won't even call it a job, this lifestyle.
I really enjoy the lifestyle, especially since I've been done with school. But well, you know, it's more family time.
Yep.
Or the family time can be a little more diverse. If I'm not going in to look at houses or anything like that, if I'm going to a construction area that, you know, is almost complete, a lot of times I can take my kids with me, or, you know, we could spend the day together.
Yep.
And so I think that's really important.
So are we teaching the kids how to do this?
My oldest, she used to have a house book, and she'd write down everything about the houses.
Oh, that's cool.
So she's kind of gotten away from that, but yeah.
So really, Shaun is creating not just a lifestyle for himself, a lifestyle for future generations.
Potentially, if they choose to do it.
Yeah. So you did a little bit of this in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Had a couple little dabbles here.
Yeah, dabbled in it barely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Maryland has been much more successful.
Yeah. I had a lot more time in Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about the Army. What does that translate over into rehabbing houses? Is there a correlation there?
Yeah, the job in the Army was a lot like sales. Talking with individuals about buying their home and trying to convince them that this is the best move and show them the reasons why it's the best move, it correlates in that way.
Yeah. You ever just dress up in like your old Army gear when you need to get something done?
No.
You need to get a contractor to do something for you?
No.
I think he should.
That didn't work when I was in the
Oh,
Army.
didn't work.
I showed up to an inspection in my uniform, and the guy still went and tried to find something else wrong with the house.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that story. You see, we're in such a military-heavy state with Fort Meade, DOD, NSA here, and I love when I see our military personnel in uniform because it really resonates to me. What are they doing every day to protect our freedoms, to give us the lifestyle that we've become accustomed to? And so I knew you for a little while when you were still in the Army, and man, ain't nothing better looking to me. You see somebody in a military outfit, and I think it's kind of funny. I would like to test that, dress up in a military outfit.
Yeah.
See if we can get hamstring a contractor or something a little bit. Do you attest your ability now because of the people skills that you're working with the contractors and the subcontractors? I mean, we've gotten a lot better with the people that we're working with.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but that's an area that I struggle in is talking with the contractors because, of what my background is. I like to ask a lot of questions and I like to get a full understanding, and I want to know why you can't get this done by Friday when you said you could get it done by Friday. And I don't exactly ask it, I guess, in the nicest way. And so it's more like an interrogation.
So we've been working on that a little bit.
We've been trying to work on that, or sometimes I just have you call them.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a lot easier in that way. But
yeah, and I'm glad Shaun brings that up a little bit. We have a partnership there, and when we can have different ways of explaining things or asking questions to certain people, I think we've been able to kind of mirror and match each other a lot and piggyback. Yeah.
Stu, if I could interject.
Yeah,
Is there like an example that you would give to any business that you're working with, different contractors or something? Like what is part of your process that you do that you can't scream at somebody, but you need to still communicate and get through whatever crisis is at the moment? Like what is something that maybe that you've worked on, or just a little tip that you could give?
Yeah, that's a great question. What do you think, Shaun? We've had some good successes lately.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to valuing that person as a partner, and they have a family to feed. They have a lifestyle to live. They want to go home at night and rest assured that Shaun and I are going to take care of them too. And so when they see our relationship as a true partnership, we're able to grow with them, and they understand that the better we can work together, all of us will have a greater success together. So I think that's a great question, Tobias. I mean, I think that's what we've learned with who we've worked with recently is that they have a family too.
Yeah. And with that, paying people on time.
Yeah.
In a good time period. A lot of times it gets a little frustrating when they're like, I need to check now. And we try to get away from that, but at the same time, taking care of them what keeps them coming back.
Yeah, I think that's a big proponent. Yeah. I mean, when a job's done, we pay the same day. There's no 30 days, 14 days.
Net 90? No
net 90. We've at least grown this company to be fairly liquid, that our bills are paid on time. The permitting process with the counties that we're working in, we're able to develop relationships there at the county and state level. And we want to protect our families just as much as we want to protect the next family. And so what I've learned from Shaun over time is that we can have difficult conversations, and it's a business.
Yep.
And, we do know each other on a personal level, yet we know how to get to the business aspect of it and work through that part. What do you see? What's the future hold for Shaun and the Holden family and renovations?
As far as business goes, I'd like to get to the point where we're doing one a month.
Okay.
And by that, we're acquiring one a month, we're selling one a month. So, we have that.
Good pipeline.
Good pipeline. No more than 6 months start to, close to close.
Okay.
So that's to start. I would like to be able to do that.
Any particular steps that you're doing to get there? You've reverse engineered from the end result, or?
We struggled with some marketing a year or so ago, and so we've got another strategy we're going to start working on. Don't exactly want to broadcast it yet, but we're gonna work on that and see if we can get our keep the deals coming, because right now most of our deals we're finding off of the MLS, and so they're very few and far between. A lot of people are competing with us. A lot of people who are swinging the hammer themselves after work, or doing things without permits. And I mean, that right there, you do a house without permits, with electric, you save easily $1,000 right away.
Yeah.
Whereas we're trying to do it the right way so that we can
Yep.
pass that on to the consumer. And so it's harder to come by deals that way.
Yeah, I know Shaun brings up some good points as doing it the right way. And we kind of muddled through some renovations a long time ago without permits. And we started to realize that this is way too risky and it's not fair to the person down the road who is going to take ownership of this property, right? And we want to make sure that we're passing on a good product, building great relationships in the community. Shaun's very active in his church and in that group. And so when they look at Shaun as a mentor and he's professing what he's doing, I think doing it the right way is the only way.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
Yeah.
and so we grow other businesses, and Shaun brought up a good point, the education level, the growth level. Shaun's always looking for future opportunities. You hired someone to help you 6 months ago,
Yep.
and now we're looking to hire a few more people.
A couple more, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what I love about Shaun. He just doesn't get complacent and say, okay, the income I need to earn is X minus out expenses. He puts profit first. And he looks at, okay, I need to earn this amount of money for my family to live their lifestyle. And then where can I fit in the who to help, through the process.
Yep.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Always learning, man. Always
Well,
growing.
A lot of people do this as a side business, kind of like what you're doing. You're
Yep.
a real estate agent full time, and this is what you do on the side. For me, this is what I do full time, and so this year I haven't been paid yet.
Yeah.
Until we get, until we sell the first house, and so I'm personally at a personal level, I'm building up that income till I can get to a comfortable level, and then I can breathe, and then we can really grow from there.
Yep. Yeah. Well, he must have a really good woman at home, Nicole, that lets him invest in the future to know that she trusts you, that it's all going to come to fruition.
Yeah, if I got to flip burgers, I'll flip burgers. But I really don't want
We're not
to.
going to let you do that. And so that comes back to another key concept of our business is that we trust each other. And Shaun knows that as he puts in the effort and the energy and the time, he trusts that in the end, we're going to reap the rewards together. Right? What else, man? What else is good? What else you want to tell everybody? Where else do you get education? I know you do a little bit of Bigger Pocket stuff.
I do a lot of stuff on Bigger Pockets, learn a lot about that. A plug for the Baltimore RIA. I go to there a lot. I don't do a lot. We don't do anything in Baltimore, but I made a lot of connections there, and I've learned a lot from there.
Yeah.
I've taken a couple of their classes. So I try to go hit that place once a month.
Yeah, it's funny. Shaun brings that up because it'll be a Saturday, and I'll say, "Hey, Shaun, you want to go do something?" Oh no, I'm at a REA real estate investment. That's REA, real estate investment group, and we're doing a seminar this weekend. And I invested my time and my money into this group to learn more. That's what drew me to Shaun, because there's only so much time in a day, and 2,080 working hours in a year, they say, right? We probably work a little bit more than that, 52 times 40. And we got to look at it and say, how can we have the right people in our lives that are going to help get us to where we want to go? And at the same time, it's a win-win for both of us, because when Shaun gets there, I get there. When I get there, Shaun gets there.
Yep. And one thing that somebody told me or taught us in one of the commercial classes I took through the Baltimore RIA is he said that if you help others get to where they want to be, you'll be able to get to where you want to be.
Yep.
And so it kind of goes along with Keller Williams, that attitude of contribution, coming from contribution. So, you're in a better position than I am. I'm helping you get to where you want to be. And as a result, we both know that I'm going to get where I want to be.
Yep.
And I think that's important in this business.
Yeah, and I talked about this in the beginning. Shaun is just pushing this business forward every day, learning so much about what we can do better and different. And we partnered with the right vendors. Right? We have the proper amount of coverage for insurance. We have partnerships with banks, and we have partnerships with loan specialists that help us through certain strategies. We have accounting partnerships and bookkeeping partnerships.
Private money
Private lending.
Yep.
So we've been a real advocate. And if you read a little bit about Think Rich, what's it called, Tobias? Think and Grow Rich. No, it's called.
Who wrote it? Was it Simon Sinek?
No, Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich. We'll have to X this out.
I'll Google real quick.
All right. cut for a sec. You cool with cutting?
No, let's keep going.
Keep going.
Well, you mentioned Profit First earlier, and you said he talks to that. Have you finished reading it?
No, I haven't.
Have you read Profit First?
No.
I'm
No,
over here dropping this book. It's great. It's
Yeah,
great.
Tobias had introduced me to this book called Profit First, so I did tie that in a little bit because that's been a lot of what we're learning through Keller Williams too, is taking revenue, then profit, which leads to expenses. And so typically the old way of doing it was revenue minus expenses equals profit. And so when you put profit in first, it really helps you understand that's the money I need to earn to live the lifestyle that I want to learn, not just what's left over at the end. So in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about developing a mastermind group and really locking down that group. And so each chapter ties back to that mastermind group. And I haven't even shared this with Shaun yet. I'm on like chapter 10, which usually I read about 4 chapters of every book. So chapter 10, I've 2.5 times exceeded my ability.
There you go.
And it talks about that mastermind group, from your insurance agent to your accountant to your bookkeeper to your financial planner, having all those resources at your disposal, general contractor. And so when Shaun looks at our business of renovating and rehabbing houses, making sure that we know who that person is that's going to take care of that property.
Yeah, it's important.
That was the correct title. You got
Correct
it.
title.
You said it. Yeah. Once you got it natural, man.
Once
you
I got it
came right
natural.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
You beat Google. So.
Oh, good. They call it Stoogle, right? We talked about that in one of my podcasts, Stoogle. So we going back. We're here live at Keller Williams, which has been just a blessing to me. Everyone knows I met my beautiful and gorgeous wife Michele here at Keller Williams. Just the opportunity of growth here and to be able to parallel other businesses through Keller Williams flagship has just been paramount to our success and our growth. And so Shaun and Nicole and his family being a part of that, we talk about God first, family second, and business third. And I think Precision Properties Group and Hanson Properties has really modeled that same outlook.
Yep.
I know on Sundays I'm not going to get a hold of Shaun. Shaun, that's his.
Not till later in the day.
Not till later in the day. That's his God day. That's his family day. And so occasionally, if I do text him, I'll say what?
I know you're busy right
I
now.
know you're busy.
Church.
Yeah.
Give me a call back. Yeah.
Yep. So I'll say, I know you're busy. I know you're at church. I know you're with family. I want to respect his time because if he's not doing it for that reason, then he's doing it for the wrong reason. And I want to make sure that I respect that out of him. So 5 years from now, where's Shaun going to be?
Severna Park.
Severna Park. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, what I'd like to see is within the next year we're at that 12.
Yep.
And then we just build
Yep.
upon that from there
Yep.
exponentially. So, honestly, right now I would be content at the 12.
Yep.
Not that I would strive to stay there and not do any more, but that's my goal right now.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people say 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, this and that.
Yep.
I'm also striving for contentment at the same time.
Yep.
And so I want to be able to be content earning what I earn to take care of what I have currently right now.
Sure.
And then build from there because if God allows me the opportunity to, do 50 houses a year, I'm not going to turn it down.
Sure.
That would be foolish. But, yeah.
Well, it sounds to me like you're keeping that work-life balance in check. And
Trying to. It's hard not to be on the computer at home.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, that's good. And I think that as your kids see that, they're going to model the same activities and actions that you take. And that's what I love about Shaun is that to him, family
It's very important.
is very important.
I heard recently that kids translate time into love.
Okay.
So the
Wow.
more time you spend with them, that's what they see as love. You can say "I love you" all day long, but that's what they translate.
Yeah.
And
I don't know
as
how
a
true it is,
business
but it
owner,
makes sense.
and you get like how do you find to get that balance, like with putting out time in a day? Is there a discipline that you've had to put on yourself where I know at this time, this what I'm saying?
It's difficult. I have a hard time because right now I've moved a little north of here, and I don't come to the office. I used to have an office at Keller Williams, and I don't do that anymore because it's too far to travel. So I'm working out of an office in my basement, which is insane because all the kids are there, and I want to play with them, and I want to hang out with them. So I'm currently in the process of building an office in my garage so I can get away from that and be in the zone and come and go as I please until 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah. And I think that's what's important is that they see some separation too, so that it's not dad's working all the time. Dad's in his office that's dad's work, and then when he's out, it's
Yeah,
family
right
time.
now, at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm walking out the door. Oh, Daddy, play with me. And I got to go to work. Dad's always working. Sorry.
Yeah.
You like eating, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's good to teach those life lessons to those kids, and
Mhm.
that 100 years from now, Cooper and I talk about this a lot. What are the stories they're going to tell about us 100 years from now?
Mhm.
And when you can think big picture like that, like Shaun does, it's kind of neat to take every day's actions and think 100 years into the future. You know, as they share those stories about dad when he was young or dad when he did this, and they're going to pass it down generation to generation. It's pretty neat to do. What are some of the learning lessons recently that you can share with some of our guests today? Any good
Rehab,
things popping up,
learning
bad
lessons.
things?
Our plumber and
Yeah.
our electrician. We recently, I think when we did that one in Glen Burnie, we hired a real plumber.
Yep.
And not going for the cheapest guy. That was very important. And then recently we've had to translate that over or transition that and use that for our electrician as well. We had a guy, he was licensed. He did the work, but I mean, he cost us months of time
Yep.
by just not showing up or saying he was showing up and he wasn't. So fortunately he quit, and then we didn't have to fire him. And it looks like we've got a really decent electrician. So I guess not skimping where it matters
Yep.
and the trades.
Yeah.
I
So
think it's
not cutting
important.
corners.
Yeah, not cutting
is
corners.
important.
I
Yeah.
mean, before we were using, at first we were using a guy who worked for somebody with a license. He had a license, but he just came and went as he pleased, and you had to keep after him all the time
Yep.
to get it done. And yeah, I didn't. Actually hiring professionals.
Yeah, and
to do
I
stuff.
think what I hear you saying is time could cost you double money.
Yeah.
It's not just dollar for dollar, or it could be double time, double money, or somebody not having the expertise to know what that property needs. Does it need upgrade? Does it need bigger piping?
Yeah, the electrician went through our Severn property,
Yep.
gave us a quote for it, and then when he finally went out there to do the project, he says, "Oh, this panel, it's no good. It's no
Yeah.
good." Why didn't you say that the first time? He
Yeah.
says, "Well, it was dark." So don't you have a flashlight on your phone? Like,
Yep.
look at the panel.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, he left, but I think that's an important lesson. It's just not skimping on the trades.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when Shaun brings up these horror stories, because that means that I didn't have to deal with that horror story, right?
Oh, well.
Shaun is that expertise that knows what certain things need at certain times. And I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm detached from the business by any stretch of it, yet Shaun's the expert.
Oh yeah, because you don't have to put up with. Yeah, I know what you're talking.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
when Shaun has 4 or 5 properties going at once, he knows, okay, at property A, this happened when we had this issue. Now we need to translate it over to property B, property C, and D. Stu could never know all that. And yes, we do utilize a lot of experts in the field. My dad obviously is very knowledgeable in high voltage electricity. We have different people in our families that have done different trades. And so we always know how to get the answer, or at least we're getting better at finding the answer.
Finding the answer, yeah.
And that comes through what? Asking better questions, understanding the process. So this has been absolutely awesome today, man.
Yeah,
This
thanks
is
for having me.
this has been something that I've been looking to do for a long time. Is Shaun and I kind of sit back, relax, talk a little bit about his backstory, and really just share with the world kind of what we're doing on an everyday basis. We also partner with homeowners as well. So not only does Shaun do renovating and rehabbing for a profit, we have done some new things now where we actually partner with homeowners, and we get them to understand that it's not always a great idea to sell out to a wholesaler or a renovator, but we're really selling up, and we're partnering with that homeowner to invest money into their property to then see a return on investment. 2 and 3 times that return. We have a property in Dundalk and a property in Bowie, and so I got some stories that I can share at a future date, and it's really about getting that homeowner to trust us and say, how can we invest in our own house, our own property, and see a greater return on investment? Yep. Well, I appreciate you, man.
Yep.
What's it been, 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2019, yeah.
2019.
2015 we started.
Yeah, so Shaun and I met 4 years ago. We're still grinding it out every day,
growing every day.
growing every day. And I love sharing my story and I love sharing Shaun's story. So appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Shaun has like the firmest handshake in the business. He must have learned that in the Army.
Yeah, maybe.
So be prepared
From my dad.
when you meet Shaun, not if you meet Shaun. When you meet Shaun, be prepared for a nice firm handshake. He's always got a smile. We love you guys. We appreciate you. We'll see you soon.